We would like to acknowledge the Bundjalung Nation, traditional custodians and First Nations people of the land on which we meet today. Was, is, always will be Bundjalung land. I offer my respect to elders past, present and emerging. I extend that respect to any Aboriginal persons with us today.
Welcome everybody to Southern Cross Uni at Lismore. My name is Amanda Ritchie and I'm a science teacher at Southern Cross School of Distance Education. We have one of our students here today, Emerald. We have Ross O'Shea from the Office of Emergency Management, and we have Janet Pettit from New South Wales State Emergency Services. And what we're here today for is the Medi problem-based learning activity. And as a member of the Learning Innovation team, I've put together this activity to engage our students in learning about new technology, about how drones could be used and how to contribute to our community. Now, a lot of you may be from Australia, some of you might not be, but it is a huge country. It spans thousands of kilometres, approximately 4,000 from Perth to Sydney, and just under 4,000 kilometres from north to south. There are many different environments within the country. There is lush tropical rainforest, hot dry deserts, bushland, coastal areas, small towns, huge cities, and lots of remote areas in between where you may not come across another human being for hundreds of kilometres. And that got me to thinking, if you're in an isolated area, many people may go bushwalking, and you go for a walk there with many poisonous snakes, what would happen if, let's say, for example, you got a snake bite? And it might be a life or death situation. And the road access might not be great. It's very expensive to get emergency services and a helicopter in. And maybe new technology could contribute to that in some way. So I started to have a research on the internet, and I came across the St John's ambulance map, which shows quite clearly where defibrillators are located in Australia. And a defib is a machine that helps restart a heart after a heart attack, and it's really crucial for survival for someone after a heart attack. And from the map, I noticed that the defibs were located around the coastal areas and near big cities, but actually there's huge gaps in the remote parts of Australia. Also, with my research, there was a link with primary healthcare services, and that seemed to be the same, that a lot were located in the cities and around the coastal areas, but there was a lack of emergency services, hospitals, and medical aid in the remote areas. And that's why I designed this workshop, to help our students learn about what service is provided in Australia and how could this new technology help. So obviously today we have experts with us, and in April 2017 there was a horrendous flood that deeply affected this area in Lismore. And we'll have a short discussion now about what happened and the effect it had on the community.
So Ross, tell me, what was the nature and the extent of these floods here in Lismore?
The flood was had a very, very significant impact on Lismore, particularly the central business district of Lismore. The flood itself in northern New South Wales extended sort of 200 kilometres by 200 kilometres. The impact on New South Wales, in fact, was the tail end of the impact of Tropical Cyclone Debbie. The actual impact of that cyclone extended about 2,000 kilometres up the coast into Queensland and all the way down to here, where the tropical low after the cyclone then came back, moved east, went over the coast and out to sea. So we had very, very high and intense rainfall. The geography here is a shallow or narrow coastal floodplain with hills, mountains behind. The rainfall that fell on those mountains and hills ran off very, very quickly and inundated the lowland below the mountains. Lismore and a number of other communities from here up to the Queensland border were flooded as a consequence of that heavy rainfall running off the high country to the west of us.
So it was a pretty severe impact. And how do you think that drones could have helped in this situation, do you think?
It's a great question, and I guess we're very fortunate in that we live at a time when there's lots of new and emerging technologies. So, and Janet will talk about this in a second, but the ability of drones, I guess, to provide up-to-date information is of great potential, and clearly providing a significant safety margin in terms of people. And also the ability of drones to deliver essential information or goods to isolated people.
Yeah.
Okay. Janet, can you tell us what role the State Emergency Service of New South Wales would have in that type of situation and did have with the Lismore floods?
Yep. So New South Wales SES, we are the lead agency for floods and storms within New South Wales. During this event, we were heavily involved in the response to calls for assistance. We had thousands of calls for assistance during that event, including 450 odd flood rescues. Now, a flood rescue includes people that may have inadvertently driven into flood water and they were sinking, so they called 000 to get help, or it might be from people who were isolated, because these floods were so intense and they were so fast that a lot of people did get caught out. And once they're isolated, and we did have a number of people with medical emergencies and they couldn't get to a hospital. So the use of drones is just an amazing innovation that I can just see being so beneficial for any emergency service, not only SES for floods, but for RFS for the fires.
Yeah, that's right. It's a contributing technology. It's not to replace anything, but it's contributing. And I think the key points with drones is time and money. Same for a lot. So how long is the response time? I know it obviously varies a lot, but you said there was 450 cases. So what happens? Because you can't possibly get to all those people.
So basically what happens when a call comes in, it's prioritised.
Right.
And our main response would be to life, saving lives first. So they would be prioritised first, and then we go down the system of if it's isolation, and then we'd go out to them to help them.
Right. So it's based on the phone call as to who's in most need.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
I can see though with situations such as people stuck in flood water, the use of drone, just dropping a life vest,
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then in terms of collecting intelligence back to our headquarters so we know what's going on, drones can provide, live footage of where the floodwaters are at.
That's right.
And the potential for actually putting that information onto Facebook and social media so that our local community know what's going on is just tremendous.
That's right. So what would have been done previously? Would a helicopter have done that, or?
Absolutely. And we then have the situation though that our helicopters can't fly during severe weather.
Oh,
So
yeah,
you
of
really
course.
aren't getting on the ground information.
Yeah.
And I know that we held 9 post-flood forums across our region, and one of the things that all of our community was saying to us, we need more local, on-the-spot, current information. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the use of drones providing that feedback to our local community will evolve.
Yeah, of course, and we need the skills of people to fly the drones and get the footage and that type of thing, which is really beneficial for our students to learn about now for future skills. Do you have another question?
Do you think with drone technology developing as it is, it's quite a rapid technology, do you think it would help for them to be able to carry heavier loads to deliver like things such as food or risk equipment and things like that?
Absolutely. As I said before, just the use of providing a life jacket out to someone who's stuck in a car with water rising, or also, they may have no communication, so delivering a radio or a mobile phone is just amazing.
Yeah.
First aid equipment to those people who are isolated.
That's
there
right.
was one situation during the flood where we had a heavily pregnant lady who was, due to give birth.
Yeah.
So providing that information and that equipment would be, you can just see the benefits.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
that's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Ross, then obviously you were heavily involved in the response and what to do and how to move forward with the flood. Are you still seeing impacts of the flood on the community? Or was it?
The very short answer is yes.
Yeah.
My role was working in the recovery. So the SES do the initial response, and
Yeah.
then behind the response comes the actions to support communities to get back on their feet and to move forward. And yes, there's clearly still impacts on communities, and those impacts are quite wide-ranging. For the business community and the farming community, there are still financial impacts. Some businesses are still struggling to get back
That's right.
into open. For householders, there's impacts in terms of, if you've lost everything in your house and your house may need repairs, there's a journey you have to go down there. Just the whole element of well-being and the impact of that event on people needs to be thought through. People still, and for some time, will need support, and of course there will always be a need to work with communities and organisations to think about tomorrow. So we've had a flood. We know what the geography here is like. We know that we get cyclones come through here. We know we can get high rainfalls to the west in the hills and mountains. We know that it's a very fast-moving catchment. So common sense says we will get other events like this. So there needs to be a lot of energy now devoted to thinking about what happened, what we learned, what we can do differently, how we can build that ability, capacity, resilience within the communities here to go through this again.
That's right. And if our students wanted to help in some way, be it, to prepare for something like this in the future, what could they do, or what could they get involved in? Would that be more SES?
New South Wales SES have looked at our volunteering program, and we've realised that people can't commit time every week, which is what our core volunteers do. So we've now opened up opportunities for spontaneous volunteers.
Oh, right.
So when an event happens, they may be able to give up some time to, for instance, provide information, what's going on at their local creek. Maybe they can come and help out with food deliveries, and it'd be fantastic if this drone initiative gets up and running. The information that can come back to provide us with what's going on the ground would be fantastic.
That's right.
So, we're looking at inviting people to become spontaneous volunteers, and if they want to get involved in that, they just need to go to our New South Wales SES website and click on the volunteering website or the link on there, and it gives you all those opportunities.
Oh, awesome. That's great, because I'm sure they would.
The other thing that I think is really important also, and it's about new technology, and the younger people are much quicker to adapt.
Yes, they are.
New technology. I mean, on the IT superhighway, I'm parked in a cul-de-sac, and quite happily so, frankly. So I don't quite get the drone stuff, but the young people do. And they have a really important role, not only in knowing how this works and how to use it, but also communicating the wisdoms and the benefits to their communities, who are old fellas like me, about what can be done differently and how we can do that, and how communities can embrace differentness. The students of today are my future.
Absolutely.
They're the people that influence my future and my journey down the track and my well-being. And that's a really important role.
It is,
for students, for our educators, in terms of how we deal with our tomorrow.
That's right, and that's led us on really nicely to our students having a play, because the only way they learn to use this technology and put it to good in the community and in the world is really, it needs to start in school. And that's what they're doing by doing this project-based learning task, and they have lots of fun with it. They just love it. So thank you so much for talking to us today. We might talk to you again just later on, but we're going to switch over to the students now while they have a play with the drones and work through some health scenarios. But thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, how are we going with the students over here? We're just going to pan over to the students. Where are they? Are we coming over here? Oh, Jacob, you going to come over?
Yeah, I'm come over.
Come on over. This is Jacob. Jacob is going to help us fly some of our drones. So we have some drones that the students are going to have a play with. And Jacob, is this your first time flying drones today?
Yeah.
Awesome. So what skills and experiences are you bringing? Have you flown any drone before?
No.
No?
Never before.
What about the controls and everything like that? Do you game or anything?
Yeah, I play games. So.
All right. I think you'll pick this up a lot quicker than I did.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so let's get the drones on and going.
Yep.
So we've got this one on. We'll put it out here and we'll get you a controller. So you were having a play with the other one.
Yeah.
Did you have fun?
Yeah, it was fun.
All right.
Righto.
Can you see us all right? Okay, so how are you going to get it up in the air?
All right,
Jacob?
give it a bit of juice.
Give it a bit of
See how it
juice.
goes.
See how you go.
Whoa.
Oh. So what are we going to do? Turn it up again? It's all right. They're very light. They're fun. These drones can withstand quite a bit of battering, so the students can play with them and have fun to learn how to fly them. So
Righto.
try again. And we've got a camera underneath.
Yeah.
Do you know how we would gather footage from that? Oh, and we're off.
I think I'm having a bit of
That's all right.
issues
That's
here.
all right. So this one is up and down.
Yeah.
You can turn it around,
Yeah, I'm not getting that
have a
one.
play, and see when the camera's facing you. Yeah, that's okay. Sometimes they're slower to respond. Look, it's coming back to us. That's good.
Yeah.
You're flying it. Good. So, do you have any idea how we could get live footage from that drone?
Well, with a camera on the bottom, you get it sent to a computer, I reckon.
That's
Yeah,
right.
See what's going on.
What do you think this is for?
Oh yeah, you can put a screen on there.
Yeah, you
see
can
what's going on.
connect up your smartphone to the app,
Yeah.
and it does live streaming from the drone, and you can take photographs.
Yeah.
All right. So, are you having fun?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, good. So what we'll do is, if you can, bring
Yeah.
it back to us.
I'll give it a shot.
Give it a shot. See how you go. Don't worry, the landing, they're a bit, light. They can flip over. Oh, you're doing...
Oh, wrong way.
Have a play, it's okay. That's the whole point, because you're learning new skills and you're problem solving by working out how to bring it back to you and how to land
Oh,
it.
look at that.
Awesome, look at that. Oh, and then
Legendary.
you hold down the controls
Yeah.
to switch off the rotors. So
Oh, look
now,
at that
well,
one.
that is brilliant. Well done. For a first time drone flying, that's really good.
Yeah, right.
So what we're going to do is we're going to run through some health scenarios.
Yep.
Okay. Because we've got two scenarios set up here. I don't know if you've noticed
Yeah.
what's going on here. So we have the first scenario is to do with the flood. So I'll just get my cards and I'll read them out to you. And we've got a few other props that we'll get. And we've got, hi Rory, welcome. We're just going to run
You my
through.
co-pilot?
Yeah, he's going to be your co-pilot.
Yeah, sweet.
We're just going to run through some of our health scenarios. Rory, you remember us doing this last week? Awesome. And we've set up our sections. So I'll start by reading. Oh, I lost a helicopter.
Oh no.
1 second.
Heli down.
Heli down. I'm just going to start by reading out the introduction to you, and then you can work together to try and solve this health
Yeah,
scenario using
righto.
the drone. Okay. So the instructions. You will be given emergency scenarios. It is the job of your team to decide how you will use a drone to assist the persons in trouble. Firstly, you will need to fly your drone to the location and assess the medical scenario, of which we have two. Okay. Return to base and then decide on medical aid you will be supplying and in what order you will proceed. Your drone has a carrier limit of 10 kg. Your team will have to make some decisions regarding the most appropriate medical aid to send first, second and third according to requirements. So you might need to think about flight time
Yep.
and how weight is going to affect that.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you ready for scenario one?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Now, we don't have the smartphone hooked up to get the live footage from that though. So, did you have yours from last week?
I believe I should.
Yeah. So while you're doing that, Rory, if you can get the app up for it. We might just fly and then we can see and discuss it. But what we can do normally is download the app and hook in,
Yep.
and you record the live video footage from the drone
Yeah, yeah.
and you can see it. All right. And that's really important in emergency situations so that
Yep.
people can assess that.
See that watching from a distance.
We'll just do it from
Just
a
like-
distance.
yeah.
All right. So scenario one is your snake bite. The victim has suffered a snake bite while hiking. They saw a brownish coloured snake move away after they felt a bite on their calf. Your victim is accessible by road and located at the top of a plateau near the river gorge. To drive to the location would take approximately 4 hours. It is 11 a.m. in the morning and the temperature at this time is 40 degrees. The temperatures today are predicted to peak at 45 degrees, so time is of the essence. Now I'm from Northern Ireland, that's very hot. Okay, so take that into consideration.
Alright.
So what are you going to do with your drone?
Oh, I should scout it out, I reckon, see what's going on.
Scout it out, see what's going on. So if you were part of the emergency services and you received this call,
Yep.
what do you want to
Wanna
use?
go to the snake bite place.
Go to the snake bite place. So should we fly out, check it out, come back and get what we need, or is there another alternative?
Maybe bring stuff out while we're checking it out.
What might be?
You already kind of know what you need.
What do you need, Rory?
You need a snake bite kit.
We need a snake bite kit. Okay, so hypothetically we have a snake bite kit that we could hypothetically attach
Oh, look at that.
onto our
Wow,
drone.
fancy that.
Might affect our flight time.
Yeah, right.
So what things do we need to consider if you're attaching a snake bite kit?
How
Attaching
they
it
can use
securely, yeah. Will they have the knowledge to use it?
Well, that's right. That is a very good
You've got to
point.
tell 'em.
You've got to tell them. So how could you tell them if you're using drones?
Microphone.
Microphone. You
Is
could.
there
Yeah, right.
Is there a speaker on the drone? Like
You can link a speaker through the drone and you could communicate with them. It's a really good idea. And what about the instructions then?
What are their instructions?
They could have instructions.
Yeah, they could, yeah.
All right. But if this is heavy, how will that affect your drone?
Oh, more weight.
Slower, less maneuverable.
Yeah. Make
Yeah.
it harder to reach it.
And the road takes 4 hours. So what's
Yeah.
the benefits of using a drone?
You can just go straight there.
Go
Don't have
straight
to-
there.
Die.
All right. Let's
Minute.
go. Let's go check it out. So your challenge is to get your drone from there
Oh, God.
to our scenario 1 to the snake bite.
So it's
Scenario 1 over there.
Do you want me to turn it so that
Yes, please.
facing front?
Yes, please. So do you remember how to fire them
yeah, I
up?
remember this.
Yeah, good. They are fun. Had you flown drones before? No. You picked it up so quickly.
Remote control helicopter, basically.
Yeah, it's a remote control helicopter. Yeah, you're right. There we go, up in the air. So you would be taking live footage flying along. What else, rather than waiting until you get there, is there anything that you might record on the way? Or if this person's really ill and the snake bite kit doesn't do it,
Yeah.
what might be the next response required?
You might need to send out like a helicopter or something to pick them up.
That's right. Is that, do you know roughly how much that costs? Any idea?
That'd cost a lot of money, I
A lot
reckon.
of money.
A
It's
lot of
normally,
money.
it's about
They need to get for the
$5,000
rest of
per
their
one.
life.
Oh!
The wind.
Wrong way, Rory, wrong way.
The wind's no good.
The wind does affect
I'm
them.
facing bro.
Yeah, look, you're going. That's it. So your challenge is to try and land it.
The wind.
It's all right, don't worry.
Power.
This is an actual problem. The wind
Yeah, right.
It
is
affects
going
the
to
drone a lot.
happen in
An
any
effect, yeah.
situation. Yeah, that's right.
Alright, we'll put it down.
If I can battle the wind.
Yeah, you're doing it. Yeah, it's going. So what types of things? Oh, can you see there?
Beautiful. Soft landing.
Yeah, well done. So what would we have to consider if we're sending a drone out there or emergency services? Is there anything that you can see about that scenario from here? We'll have to have a search, get someone
Yeah.
to fetch the
There's
drone.
lots of trees.
Lots of obstacles.
Lots
yeah.
of obstacles. Yeah. Would it be easy to get a vehicle in there?
Probably not, no.
Might not be. So a drone can certainly deliver that emergency aid quickly and
Yeah.
more cheaply.
Helicopter's gonna be screwed.
Yes, possibly. But it's not to replace emergency services. It's just for that fast response. Okay. Now, does someone want to go get the drone because it's turned upside down?
Yeah, I'll go
And
grab
we'll
it.
bring it back.
All
Yeah,
right.
thank you. Turn it over, and then Rory, do you want to fly it back? And then Jacob, do you want to try scenario number 2? Yeah, awesome. So you flew. Yeah, the wind's okay. That's what's going to happen. So Rory, we did this last week, and you recorded some footage. How did you do that?
On the phone.
On the phone.
They have
And
the
how would you use your phone?
Extreme FPV.
Because we have to explain to people what skills you're using and you've learned from last week. So it was the FPV app. And how did you connect to the drone? Do you remember?
Wi-Fi.
It was through Wi-Fi.
And it was easy.
And what did you do with the app?
You could record and take pictures.
Record, take pictures, and take videos, which is awesome. All right, are we ready?
Yeah.
Is it facing this way?
Yep.
Fire up. You can see the rotors going.
Oh, maybe
It's
not
okay.
so much.
Through the goalpost.
Oh, that's in.
Real risk.
Score.
If it hits the post, it's still in.
Wrong way, Rory. Wrong way.
Right, so theoretically that's over here.
Yeah. It's all right. We'll bring it back.
Are you just going to get footage of that magpie?
The back.
I'll stand around here. so I don't have my back to you so much. So what do you think about employment opportunities with drones? Would either of you like to be a drone flyer?
Yeah, I reckon that'd be an interesting job.
Yeah. Is there anything that we need to consider in terms of flying drones for fun or commercially? Do you think anyone can fly a drone anywhere?
Well, I think there should be some restrictions. You could crash it in someone or...
There is restrictions and regulations, and if you wanted to become a drone pilot, there are courses that you could do to become a licensed pilot.
Yeah.
And you could actually fly drones for, you know, companies and things like that.
Yeah.
That's it. You're facing the front now.
Yeah. Are we
Okay.
bringing it back? We could fire up another one.
He's just getting the rotors around the front one.
Okay, good. So that's us facing the right way?
Yep.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, and the drone's coming back.
Rotors are at the
So,
front now.
certified, you can become a certified pilot, yeah. So let's,
Nice bit of footage of the bird.
yeah, we've got a bird in the way, the drone's coming back, and then we're going to do just one more scenario. All right, awesome. So scenario number 2, and this is a very poignant one after what we just talked about with Ross and Janet, and it is the flood disaster one, okay?
That just happened.
So it did just happen, yeah, in Lismore. So what we have is a small isolated community has been cut off from local towns for the past 2.5 weeks due to flooding in the monsoonal season. The community's population is 120 people, including children and infants, and they have reportedly lost a large number of supplies due to flooding and now have no food or fresh clean water supplies left. They cannot be accessed by road at all. Boats can cross, but it takes them approximately 7 hours to reach them. So imagine if this happened in your community and you have been cut off from all resources for 2.5 weeks. All right.
Is there a helicopter option?
There is a helicopter option, but it's
But it's very
$5,000 per hour. And if you have 120 people, where do you send the helicopter
Yeah,
to?
right.
And can it rescue 120 people?
Yeah.
No.
Send
Okay.
a bunch of drones.
Well, we could. It doesn't have to be just one. But do you want to have a go at flying the drone now?
Yeah, for
They
sure.
can hold up the people, lift them up.
So this is scenario number 2. What can you see?
Well, I can see a lot of water.
Yes.
See a couple of people in the water.
Yes.
Too good.
I should go check it out, I reckon.
I think you should go check it out. So what are we using the drones for in this scenario?
Right now having a bit of a scout, seeing what's going on.
So would we send drones out, bring them back, then decide, or what would we do?
I think it'd be situational, but here you might want to already be bringing something with you. Like maybe if they've been cut off for 2 weeks, maybe thinking about some food or something like that.
I think that's a really good idea.
You want to bring food and stuff.
And what about water? Ironically, they're
Yeah.
surrounded by lots of water, but
Wouldn't
will
wanna
it be
drink
fresh
that,
and
no.
clean? No. So maybe. And what about weight considerations for drones?
Water's heavy.
Yeah.
Water
It
is
is.
heavy. And how will that affect the drone, do you think?
Oh,
Bad. If there's bad weather and stuff, that's going to end badly.
Yeah, bad weather would affect it too, and it affects helicopters. So it's not an ideal scenario, it's just
yeah.
part of the solution.
Yeah.
Well, you landed that really well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
All right, are you ready to return to base?
Yeah, let's give it a shot.
And what other emergency services might be involved then?
You might have your lifesaver helicopter and stuff like that.
Yeah, awesome. That's really
You
good.
also have some people come by boats, but it would take a long time. So
Oh, great. Oh, very good.
yeah.
How the hell?
That was a good landing. Thank you.
Get an experience.
Yeah, so what was your favourite part of that little activity?
Oh yeah, flying the drones. It's good fun. Yeah.
Perfect landing.
Yeah, if you just want to
It's
come
nice.
around here a second closer to my microphone. And what skills do you think somebody needs to fly drones?
Well, good coordination. You got to be able to tell what way you need to be moving over sticks and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Reflexes.
yeah. Students are much better at it than I am, and I'm wondering why that is.
Right.
You know, is it gaming? Is it being used to these
Yeah,
controls?
growing up with technology and stuff like that probably helped us out. Yeah.
Oh, it's very similar to gaming.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Control something with
Yep.
sticks and
Yeah,
reflexes.
yeah. And do you like doing this type of thing in school? Would you like to do more of it, or?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's good to get out of a normal school routine and do stuff like this.
Yeah, good. I'm really glad. And hopefully use these skills in the future with your community.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, to help out and contribute. Yep. Okay, that is awesome. So what we're going to move on to is another little discussion about the future of drones with Leon. So thank you, boys.
That's all right.
We've got lots of drones around. I'll take that from you,
Cool.
and we'll play with the drones again just in a couple of minutes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Hi, Leon.
Hello.
You're going to help me with
I
a drone
am.
discussion
I
about
am.
what is actually going to happen with these amazing pieces of kit.
With the future
now
of
and in
drones.
the future.
Now
yeah.
and in the future. Well,
yeah.
what you
And we've got
probably
Emerald
noticed-
back here too.
Hello,
Hi.
how are you? What you probably noticed is we've got a range of different drones down here.
Yeah.
Some of these ones are the sort of more light. This is kind of a lightweight version. What's really interesting about these is that these are incredibly cheap. As
They
you
are.
probably know, they're only about $100. So we're starting to see an evolution in the technology where they're becoming cheaper. So you can buy lots and lots of these drones. They're also getting smaller. I mean, this one here is about half the size again. And it's got a whole bunch of features in it like object avoidance, computer navigation, GPS, sonar, radar, little things all over the place. I guess the merging technology is moving into a space where, I mean, one of the videos that we had to show, which I might get them to roll up now, is a fantastic piece. It's talking about a different type of drone, not our little quadcopters, but a more of a flyover drone. And it's in a similar vein to the help that we had here. In
Postpartum
Tanzania,
hemorrhage is the first.
they're dropping relief packages to people. We might have a look at that now.
We have many cases of severe malaria anemic form. To travel from this hospital to this nearest regional blood transfusion, it was taking hours.
It was difficult to intervene immediately. If in the stock there is nothing, the patient would die.
biba ngombwa ko amaraso ye yanshizemo ndayanyohereza ababishinzwe.
Every second you gain in saving life is critical. The fact that zipline was a solution for the government of Rwanda, we didn't hesitate.
Zipline is divided into different teams. We have the flight ops who care about pre-flighting planes, packing, loading the packages, and make sure that plane can fly. And then we have health ops. You can include more of the people with the knowledge of the blood product.
We make order to the zipline by using SMS or by using WhatsApp.
When you get those orders, you specify hospital X need blood product. Those products have been wrapped, and then after that, the package is handed to flight ops. You scan the package, and that's when we put the vehicle on the launcher. The vehicle will fly autonomously up to the hospital.
Zipline transport the blood to the patients to save the lives of population.
Iyo nabona ayo maraso nari gushobora gupfa. Igihe kuva basaba amaraso n'igihe yatugereyeho nta minota 5 irimo. Nabona ayo maraso kumva naritabye Imana ko ari yagize umuntu.
We can avoid expiries, we can avoid stockout because the supply chain has improved. Blood is life. It is saving life for Rwandans.
Zipline must cover all world. It will be a good thing.
I would wish all countries partnering with Zipline to deliver to the needed population. We have to make a great effort to make sure that we avoid every single day. It's the greatest investment we have, our people. And every single opportunity that can add value to what we are doing, we take it.
So what you saw there was some really amazing stuff. I mean, they're already providing aid, and that's the kind of stuff that's happening today. In the future evolution of these drones, as they start to get smaller, as I pointed out, we have this one that's, you know, half the size of the previous ones. We've even got this one, this little Spark here, which is
looks
half
awesome.
the size again. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's so cool.
This thing you can actually just hang from your pocket, and you can throw these out, and they launch straight away. And one of the things that we're seeing with this kind of technology is they're integrating other forms of technology. We have deep machine learning, neural networks. We have advanced camera operations. We have awareness technology. There's a little video package that I took recently from a tech conference. And what it is they're starting to get these drones to swarm together. So instead of operating a single drone, the drones are operating as a collective. And they can move through obstacles, they can source out areas, and they can get a larger scope on what's going on and potentially carry larger payloads. Or even, in the case of something like a relief effort, you could send out a swarm of 100 drones all communicating with each other and just map the entire area. And instead of having a single person or a fleet of people operating those drones, there's a computer that is doing all the operation of all of those drones as a single unit. I think we've got some of that footage.
So it's linking artificial intelligence really with the use of drones.
Have we got... Kind of like the way that people do searches now.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, they can search a picture or specific terms. You might be able to send a and say, find people. And without having to have any control whatsoever, drones are going around scanning the entire area and looking for signatures that look like people.
Wow, that would be incredible for earthquakes and if there's
Absolutely.
been volcanic eruptions or something.
Even as you said, with the size and scale of Australia, which sometimes people don't quite understand.
Well, that's right, I didn't quite understand.
Yeah, until you came out and saw
That's
some
right.
of the west of New South Wales.
That's right.
Yeah, huge swaths of land. There's areas of land in Australia, there's some of them that are larger than whole countries, where there's nothing but a road heading east, west and north, south.
Absolutely
As far as you can see.
Yeah.
So something like this, with very little effort, with very little programming, could be sent out. And that's just some of the stuff that we're thinking about today. Of course, we've got students now in classrooms who are learning about this kind of thing, and they're going to come up with ways and technologies and methods to use these drones that we haven't even conceived yet.
That's right. And it's changing so quickly, and that's why it's important for students to learn the skills now.
Absolutely.
And to learn how to fly the drones, coding about artificial intelligence,
That's
and
right.
to be able, because as Ross said, they are the future, and they will come up with more ideas, and it is about learning those skills now in schools.
Absolutely, and it's about integrating different forms of technology. So this isn't simply
That's
just
right.
operating a drone. It could be a collaboration between sort of the programmers or even just people who have clever ideas. I mean, what I see here on the table is a bunch of rudimentary tools.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
we've got students who are thinking of new ways to use those, creative ways to use those that no one else has yet thought of.
That's right, and drones for good. And on the fun side, I've heard there's a drone that you can attach a band to your wrist.
Yes, there
and
is.
it follows you if you're skiing or something
Well,
like that.
Actually, even this one, that used to be the old tech was to have a band.
Yeah.
This one's got a special computer chip built into it, Atom computer chip, that can track an individual item. You go
really?
You go into the iPhone and you grab a certain area and you say, I want you to track this, and then you just press the run command and it will just follow along as best it can to follow you.
That's really cool.
Isn't it? I mean, that's built into this now. That's not even with any kind of what you would think of like an advanced computer bank or something like that.
And that is so many environmental uses.
Yes.
To be able to, I mean, we're talking about fun and for skiing and that type of thing, but environmentally and in ecosystems, that could be used. Are there any that you know of at the minute?
Yeah, there are actually. There's a project at the moment where they're trying to track down koalas, and so they're sending these drones out, and they're using again machine learning and image detection, deep neural networks to go out and scan bushland, very similar to what we've got around here, and find the little signatures of koalas moving around in the tree to get a better idea of where they are and what their movements are like. I think we've got some footage of that. It's number 10, I think. Okay. We also have some video footage. This is some really cool stuff. Again, this is not machine learning. Cattle mustering, sheep mustering, livestock mustering. Guys have worked out that you can use the sound, because these things are quite loud and they've got this real buzzing tone, and livestock really dislike it, which, it's not great, but you can use these to muster livestock just with the drone. You don't even have to use quad bikes. You can sit back at a distance and just push it up close to them, and they try.
Yeah, because they don't like the sound. Our plovers don't like the sound of them either.
Have we got some of that? Yeah, we'll have a look now. Again, this is all sped up footage because it was taken over quite a long time. There you can see a little bit of sheep mustering.
That's so incredible.
Yep. Isn't that amazing?
So do you think this technology will replace humans in some instances, or like I'm just thinking of sheepdogs and things like that, or is it a tool?
I see it as a tool.
Yeah.
I don't think it will replace people. I think, like most technology, it will make people's lives easier. And what you'll probably see then is people are able to do more with their time than they had previously done. Spend less time on certain tasks and more time on other tasks. I don't think you would hear from anyone who's ever worked on a relief effort who would say, geez, you know, I don't like the look of these, they're going to take away jobs, you know, and what we really need is all the jobs we can get. No, they're crying out for more people or essentially more time, more man hours to work.
Well, that's right, and Janet gave us that indication earlier on with all those cases, and you just couldn't possibly get to everybody in that time frame, so I think you're absolutely right. It is a tool.
Yeah, so but it's fascinating and it's exciting times ahead.
Yeah.
We're going to see some really interesting stuff with this, I have no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, clearly drones have so much potential for like a variety of situations. What do you think some of the challenges will be regarding privacy and government restrictions and things like that?
Well, actually, I think those are going to be the challenges, first and foremost. I think it will be government restrictions on flight paths. We're still trying to work out, especially in Australia, we're still trying to work out exactly where you can fly, where you can't fly. We've got to avoid things like helicopters and planes and airfields and sensitive things like that. Privacy is a concern. If you stick a camera on anything and start floating it over people, privacy has to be taken into consideration. And we're all thinking altruistically. We like to believe that people are going to use drones to help other people out, but we also want to make them feel confident that the footage that's being captured by these and analysed by computers is only being analysed for the purpose that we say it is, and then perhaps removed, deleted, not really considered after that. We definitely need regulation, or at least work put towards regulation, legislation in place so that people feel comfortable with drones, and that they realise that they're here for a benefit and certainly not for any kind of nefarious purposes.
Yeah. One of the amazing pieces of footage that I watched, and I'm not sure if we have it on the ambulance drone, if we have the video. It was one of the first videos that I actually watched. And I thought, wow, it really showed me the impact that they could have, not to replace emergency services, but to actually save lives.
Yes.
And that drones weren't just used to visually scope an area or to help, but actually as a communication device and to deliver the medical aid where it's needed, which is what I based the PBL around. So maybe we could watch that.
Yeah, let's have a look at that.
Just have a look.
112 operator, what is your emergency?
It's my dad. I think he had a heart attack. Please help, he's not breathing anymore.
Please stay calm. What's your name?
Joanna.
Good, Joanna. We've got your location. The ambulance drone is on its way. Remove his top shirt to uncover his torso.
Okay.
Great. Can you go to the nearest exit? The ambulance drone is almost there.
Okay. I'm outside.
I'll be talking through the drone now, so you can put down the phone.
Now please pick up the drone and bring it to your father. You're doing great. Okay, pull the green lid. Now place the pads on your father's chest. Good, I can see that the pads are properly applied. Joanna, please stay clear of your father. We'll take it from here.
All right, so I find that video really had a huge impact because it's showing somebody's loved one and how drones can help in that situation. But really the major thing is the response time. The response time in that scenario was reduced from 10 minutes with an ambulance to 1 minute with a drone. And actually having a defibrillator built into the drone, and not only that, but communicating with that person who would potentially be very nervous in that situation, not know what to do, and to have someone from the ambulance service calmly telling them what to do and to save that person's life. And that's what really got me thinking about this project. and teaching the skills to the students and how that could be used in a community. So I guess what we're at now is, where are we now? We've talked a little bit about, the future of drones, and I guess it's how our students can be involved in that, and where could we possibly go with the drones now?
Well, the sky's the limit,
yeah.
if you'll excuse the pun. They could be potentially used for just about anything. And I think one of the fabulous things about project-based learning is these are a tool. So find a scenario, find a need, find a space where something isn't being filled, get creative with it, start students off thinking about creative ways that drones could be used, and then get a few of them, take them out into the field, test out your scenario. This is the way that we're going to discover this kind of stuff. There literally is no limit to these things, and it's only going to get more exciting as they get smaller, cheaper, and smarter.
Yeah, I hope so. A lot of our students after the engagement day have said that they really want to get a drone for Christmas. So I apologise, everybody, for them wanting a drone. But it's about them learning something relevant, having fun, and getting these skills that are useful in the future.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think this is definitely 21st century technology. This is where we're moving.
That's right. Well, thank you so much for having a chat to us and teaching us all about the drone.
That's not a problem.
Thank you. So thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for listening and watching our little piece of the Medi problem-based learning. I hope we've inspired you to have a play, maybe get some technology, and just learn and have fun. And if you want to try it out maybe with other students in schools, just have a play and give it a go. They absolutely love it. Thank you very much for tuning in. Bye.
Cute, cuddly, and often difficult to spot, especially when their numbers are declining. Traditionally, koalas have been counted by people on the ground. Now they can be tracked by robots from the air. Researchers from the Queensland University of Technology have sent up drones armed with infrared cameras.
We're a little bit sceptical that it would work, but when we saw the images come through, we saw the koalas are very distinct compared to the trees and the environment. So we thought, yes, this is absolutely a proof of concept that it could work.
Their first test flight was in bushland surrounding Australia Zoo on Queensland's Sunshine Coast. The cameras detect the animal's body heat and beam pictures straight back to the team below.
We have tested at 20 metres and 80 metres. At 20 metres we got really good resolution.
Computer software helps distinguish koalas from other creatures that might be in the trees.
So this will drastically reduce the manpower, will greatly increase the area that can be covered to survey koalas in areas where people may not be able to walk through because of dense undergrowth.
And give a more accurate count of a drastically dwindling population.
Can we then use the technology to see how they behave, how they reintegrate, monitor their health?
The Koala Foundation says it won't be enough to save the creatures.
Every single tree in Australia right now needs to be protected. And unless that happens, I can promise you the koala's going to go to extinction.
An outcome researchers are striving to avoid. Jessica Van Vonderen, ABC News, Brisbane.